Hey, good morning everybody. It's Chris from 4x4 Camping Corps here. So if you saw last week's video on our trail fix for my overheating Wrangler, you saw that we kind of narrowed it down to the fan motor. And as we were going on the trail, we were able to kind of keep an eye on it and had a fun day overall. But it's bright and early Saturday morning. And it's kind of cold out here in Southern California. I know everybody, it's relatively cold for here. And I wanted to get out here and just give you a quick update on what I'm going to be doing this morning. So I researched radiator fans and really couldn't find a lot out there. They are there, but I mean, everything is like ridiculously priced, or reading reviews on it, they crap out in like a year and a half. Whereas I've had this radiator fan for 11 years now. A couple days ago was the 11th anniversary of buying this Jeep brand new, and I can't believe it's been 11 years. Anyway, so what I decided to do was I'm just doing a OEM replacement on just the parts I have identified as failing. I'm not doing an entire new fan shroud assembly with the blades and the shroud and the motor and all of that stuff. What I'm doing is I am only doing a new thermostat and harness. This little green thing here is the actual thermostat that tells the fan when to turn on and off. Because if you look at the stock one, which I've already pulled out, you can see the reservoir tank hanging out over there too. Already got started a little bit here. If you look really carefully right there, this thing was melting, which means it was not getting a good contact. It was shorting out. So I don't like that. So I'm replacing it. And I have a transmission cooler. If you look right down, if you look right down in there, you can actually see it right there. With the older model, with the 3.8 liters, the older model JKs, they had an issue. If you're not already aware, they had an issue with the transmissions overheating. The fix from the factory was to add a transmission cooler. So that's what I did years ago. And all I had was this splice, which is kind of rinky-dink, but it worked. And what I'm going to do today is I'm actually going to go one up on it, and I'm going to add a connector, just so it's easier to remove if I need to in the future. So got the new one of this, and all I did was I got a new fan motor. But this little fan motor from Mopar is not cheap. I think I found it for like 130 bucks, but other websites were selling it for all the way up to $200. So I figured, hey, if it lasts another 11 years, I'm fine with that. So just wanted to give you a quick update, and I'll show you, once I get it all pulled apart, how I am disassembling everything and getting this guy in there. Okay, so here we are down inside here. Like I said, I already got started a little bit, so I just want to retrace my steps really quick so you can follow along. So what I did was I went ahead and I removed this guy, my reservoir tank. Super easy to remove, just the two little clips right there, slide up and out. And then I removed the upper shroud, so I'll get that out of the way. I did break one of those clips, so annoying, but I have a bag of replacements. So the other thing I did already was, like I said, I replaced the old thermostat. One little 10mm bolt right here. And by the way, please excuse the mess in the background. I don't even want to go there, but I live here. So back to this. One 10mm bolt right here. Remove that. This, you just slide over. Let me see if I can get you a better view here. Okay, so this right here, you just slide over, comes right out, super easy. And then I unplug the harness, unplug from the motor that is down, all the way down in here. can see. And I can pull this guy out. So, we'll throw that over there. Don't need that anymore. Now what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to remove the 2 remaining 10mm bolts. Let's see if I can show you where they are. So down in here, there's one 10mm bolt right here. The other 10mm bolt is on the other side, right there. I think you can see it right there. So you remove those 2 10mm bolts, and then the fan shroud comes up and out. It sits in 2 little pockets down on the inside of the radiator. So I'll go ahead and do that and get moving. So in order to get to this bolt right here on this side, on the passenger side, I actually have to remove the top of the airbox. So I am just going to get this right here. I already loosened everything up because you don't want to see me unscrewing all the screws and bolts and everything. So I'll go ahead and pull this out and we will go from there. Bolts off. Here it comes. No parts of the radiator were damaged in the making of this video. So I've got this thing down on the floor now. You can see there's just one center nut here, which is a 13mm. Go ahead and it's gonna be a reverse thread. So you wanna actually act like you're tightening it. Get this guy off. And then this guy, nice and easy, comes off. And then back to the 10mm. Wow, that thing is looking rough. 10mm socket, 3 of them in here. And if I'm not mistaken, the new motor, see that right there, is all loose and rusted and looking pretty bad. So you can see exact swap. Tabs are in the same place, harness is in the same place, exactly the same thing. Looks like this was originally painted black. This is nice and shiny. Also comes with the new fan nut, which actually has a Loctite inside, so I think I will go ahead and use that. And lovely instructions. One, two, three. Make sure your harness or the connector is going through that notch. Kind of self-explanatory, guys. Sorry. And it goes. So get this back together. Another thing on the plastic since cars use so much plastic nowadays. What I like to do is I actually like to run the screw or bolt or whatever I'm using in reverse until I feel a little click, like I just did, and in reverse. And then I'll start threading it. That way, we're going in the same grooves that were already made by the last bolt, screw, you know, and we're less likely to actually cross thread because it's super easy to cross thread in this plastic, and then you just end up chewing it out if you do it enough times. And then you got to replace that part. So I like to try to keep that in mind when I'm messing around with the plastic stuff. And there. We take our fan. Place just like that. Brand new shiny nut. And it would help if I threaded proper direction because it is reverse thread. Back to the 13. And there you go. Bam. Bam. It's dirty. It's gonna get dirty again. There's really no point in cleaning it up. Inside the engine bay, keeping it clean, as you all know, takes a lot of work. So I'm not gonna clean it. Anyway, gonna get this thing back up in there, and pretty much it's just putting it back together. I do, however, want to show you what I'm going to do with the electrical for the auxiliary fan. So stay tuned. Whenever you're doing this too, like I'm joking around about no radiator parts were harmed in the making of this video. Yeah, it's super delicate, so you want to be careful when you're working around it, because when you flatten out those fins of the radiator, you can really mess up the cooling if you get enough of them. Back in, I can bolt that back together. And like I said, these are the wires to my auxiliary fan right here. I'm going to add a harness instead of just splicing them in so I can unplug it easier in the future. Easy splice. I'm still obviously going to have to splice on the other end, but adding the connector. So yeah, I'm going to do that, and I'll show you what it looks like when it's done. Here, I've added my connector, and I just need to heat shrink those. And I have my new thermostat here, and I've spliced in my connector on that end, as you can see there. And I have my new plug there, nice and clean, brand new, spanking new. And I have my fan shroud assembly in. I put the reservoir tank back in. I'm just gonna go ahead and reconnect, if you can see here, reconnect this guy down in there. Slide that in place, just like so. Plug this harness in, plug this in to this end, and this end of the plug all the way down here goes down to right here. And that's it. Voila, all done. Let's see if it all works. There it is, everything's back in place. I've got the extra harness here, got this plugged in. I've got this running down nice and tight. to the new fan motor. I've got my airbox back connected at the hose, and I got a new clip for the clip that I broke. Always a good thing. Shroud back in. That should be it. We'll test it in a little bit and do the fix.